Good afternoon, traders. It's Bill Baruch with Blue Line Futures, and it's your daily midday market minute. It's a slow Monday, but the levels are working. Before I get to it, though, if you're watching on YouTube, please click the link below and subscribe. Like and subscribe. If you're watching from our website, there's also a link below to direct you to YouTube, and you can subscribe that way. We'd love for you to follow us. We'd love for you to help us build our following. Yes, not a lot of movement except for the little wiggle early on today where there was an AI image of a fire or going off at the Pentagon, an explosion, and the S&P dipped down but did not take out the overnight low. We have major three-star support, 41.85 to 41.88, and that's been the support to start the day, be over from the overnight, and it held that on that little wiggle on that AI image that scared the markets for a moment. Overall, though, debt ceiling talks in focus. You got some news out of China and Micron and some trade talks, but debt ceiling in focus and really Fed comments today, but not a whole lot new there. And that's why we're seeing slower markets, but the levels are working. Again, the S&P held that major three-star support. The NASDAQ held its major three-star support. Both are highlighted on the Morning Express, and they've sort of grinded higher, trading right into some key resistance levels and really kind of holding and tethered to that pivot and point of balance for a lot of the session. But that sets up very constructively. Remember, last week we had big closes throughout the week. You had 1.6% gain in the S&P, 4% in the NASDAQ, almost 4% in the NASDAQ. So it was a big week, and to digest those gains, hold on to that through today's session, I think is definitely a very good sign. We've seen the dollar come back off the highs a little bit. We've seen yields a little higher on the day, but that leads into flash PMIs tomorrow. So keep an eye on that coming from Europe, early hours, and then from the U.S., 8:45 a.m. Central Time. It's going to move things. But again, keep an eye on that floor support. Again, we've defined it in the Morning Express. It's all there. Now, for crude oil, it's worked off that floor support. Never closed below major three-star support, right around that 71.25 area. It's highlighted on the Morning Express. We did get below it briefly and overnight, and we came back, and now we're moving higher. So the ceiling, not the debt ceiling, but the ceiling and resistance for crude, that 73.40, 73.80 area. It hit that against that on Friday. It fell back, and we've been pretty constructive in a response, and now we're back above and have been holding above the pivot and point of balance for a lot of the session. And again, that's on the Morning Express, so go check it out. Holding above there paves the path higher, so for another test in that 73.5 range. And for the metals, it's been slow, and they've been bleeding back. A big move on Friday, coming out of the hole. They couldn't get much follow-through. Gold really struggling against major three-star resistance, though we like the fact that we've seen this sort of break the pattern that took place in February amid that correction. So that move on Friday sort of broke that pattern and sort of begins to pave the way for a bounce back, a recovery. Now we got to get through resistance. For gold, that's 1983, 1986, and for silver, there's a number of levels that are highlighted. It's just very sticky right around that 23.90, and you want to see this hold above 23.90, ultimately regain $24. So price action is dwindling a little bit, but the dollar's coming off, and yields are not making fresh lows late in the session. So it sets up for at least the early part of Asian hours. Do we get any positive news out of China? And some positive news is needed to really start to move these metals, but more so less on gold and silver, and more so on copper, which is just dwindling right below, again, hanging below 370 here again on the session. So our team is here to help. Big week ahead. Flash PMIs tomorrow. Debt ceiling in focus. Don't hesitate to contact our trade desk. We are here. We're here to help. 312-278-0500. Remember, futures trading involves substantial risk of loss. It is not suitable for all investors.